welcome Kingfishers to lesson number 2 of my world geography class via distance learning. What? I don't know. I just tried to upload a 6th grade video and apparently it was too long, and I'm a little stressed out right now, if I'm going to be completely honest. Anyway, let's get into today's lesson and then hopefully I'll be less stressed. Screen share. Hope that's the right thing to do. Let's hit that button. Oh, that looks like it worked. Okay, things are getting better. Good. So here's today's agenda. This is what we're going to be doing in class today. I'm going to start with some announcements. I'm going to talk about that news story that we were writing right before we were interrupted by this whole pandemic thing. I'm going to talk to you about a new approach to map quizzes that we're going to take, and then I'm going to give you a quick little preview into tomorrow, because tomorrow's when we're going to get into like our real kind of like flow of the lessons. But I still have some, I don't know, some things that I need to go over with you before we can get into like the real, what is this going to look like every day kind of stuff. So you can see at the top, our focus question is a little bit weird. What are we supposed to do about the news story assignment? What are we going to do about map quizzes? Tomorrow, there'll be like a real academic focus question up there. Your homework, let me start there with announcements, is that your Africa news story is due officially on Wednesday. I know some of you have already submitted it, and I'm going to talk about that in a couple minutes. But Wednesday, April 1st, it's not an April Fool's joke, is when that assignment is officially due. And that's when you are no longer allowed to edit them, and I'm going to start grading them. Also, our Africa map quiz. So we're going to start with map quizzes today, and more about that in a few minutes. But everyone needs to send me their pre-test score by the end of the day today. That's Monday. And record it on the sheet. I'll talk about that in a couple of minutes, okay? All right, so let's get into today's dog picture. There were some complaints, mostly from 6th graders, that I was favoring Rory, because duh, that's what I do. But there's a little picture of LP standing in the middle of a little brook. Oh, you look so happy and cute. All right, next up. The other question I got a lot from 7th graders is, what time was our meeting? When are we using Google Meet? And the answer is not for a little while still. We will use Google Meet, but it probably isn't going to start until at least Thursday of this week. That's April 2nd. Mostly because I'm still figuring this technology out, and I want to make sure I'm using it in a way that's a good use of our time. And I also want to make sure I'm using it in a way where like I know what I'm doing. So we're on hold with Google Meet. I know like Al Corona has one going on, and I think Mr. G&A did too. I am not going to do a Google Meet until at least Thursday. And when I do, it's not going to take the place of these pre-recorded lessons. Like, this is how I'm going to do my instruction every day, through a little lesson that I post in Google Classroom. Google Meet or Zoom, because I feel like I want to use Zoom instead. That's going to be for us to kind of discuss things, you know, like interactive if you have questions sort of thing. But it will not be where you receive your instruction for world geography every day. More on that later when I figure it out. So this next slide is what I've been doing with my free time to prevent myself from going crazy. So you guys have had me for 2 years. You know that I have a yard that's a little nuts on Christmas time. I have all these Christmas decorations, and I decided to create this weekend a social distancing safari. So this is a little preview. It's not finished yet, but I wanted to share it with you guys. I have a horse in my safari. I have a camel. Here's my giant lion, which I cannot wait to put out for Christmas next year. And then I also included, a giraffe, and I made them all little masks. It's hilarious, and my neighbors think I'm nuts, because I am. All right, let's get into actual world geography stuff. So that news story that we've been working on, I'm going to try to move me. I don't know if this actually works. Like, am I now in a different spot on the screen? Am I like down here as opposed to like I was up there earlier? I don't know. The final submission date for your news story is April 1st, this Wednesday. If you've already submitted to me, that's great. But I haven't looked at them really. I've skim read them, but I'm not going to start doing any grading until Thursday. So you have until midnight Wednesday to finally get that into me. And there is one new piece to the assignment that everyone has to work on, regardless if you've submitted it or not, and that is a checklist. That checklist can be found in my Google Classroom under the classwork section, and I'm going to explain to you how that's going to work right now, hopefully. So the task with the checklist is this. I've created, I think it's like 13 different things that I'll be looking for when I grade your assignment, when I grade your news story. And the checklist is just there to ensure that you've done all of those things, that you haven't left out any parts. So what you're going to do is you're going to open up your news story. You're going to open up this Google Doc that has the checklists, and you're going to make sure that you've done everything that it is you're supposed to do. And if you haven't, this is still an opportunity to make some revisions so that you're turning in the best work possible and earning the best grade you can possibly earn. So this is kind of what, oh, I'm going to move myself again. This is kind of what the checklist looks like. You'll see it when you open up the Google Doc, but you can see there's a column that says yes or no, and then there is another column where it has got project objectives, and they're like this, like my introductory paragraph ends with a clear central idea statement. So then I would look at my essay. There's my essay. I would look at my introductory paragraph right here, and then I'd say, all right, at the end, it might surprise people to learn that Africa has a growing comic book industry, which is quite similar to that in the US and has been gaining momentum in countries like Nigeria and South Africa. That sounds like a really strong central idea statement. So I would go back here, and in this box, somehow, oh, can I do this? I think I can. I would write, yes. My news story has 2 body paragraphs at least. Then I go back, I'd look at my news story. There's body paragraph number 1, American comic books. There's body paragraph number 2. So then I go back to my checklist, and in my checklist, I would write yes. And if you're missing anything, you know, that's your opportunity to go back and say, oh, I need another body paragraph, or I need to revise my introductory paragraph a little bit because it's just not up to snuff, and I want to get the best grade I can get. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. Hold on, I'm going to make this smaller. I don't know why. Look at that title. That is a really great title. And just a reminder, guys, that all of this is due on Wednesday. That's April 1st. So your checklist, which you'll open up that Google Doc, you'll fill it out, and then there should be a button on your end that says like submit or turn into teacher, and then I'll receive it. You have to do that. That's a 10-point assignment. And then your news story, if you haven't shared it with me yet, you have to share it with me by midnight on Wednesday. If you've already shared it with me, you don't have to reshare it. That's fine. But know that you still have an opportunity to go back and make some revisions between now and midnight Wednesday. I think that's everything. But if you have questions about the news story, shoot me an email during office hours or any time of the day between now and Wednesday, and I can answer it for you. If you need any additional materials, like you've lost anything that any of the handouts that I gave you to help you write the news story, although honestly it should be written by now, shoot me an email and I will find a way to send those to you and make them available for you. Okay, what's up next? Oh, how are we going to do map quizzes? So I spent some time over the weekend. Look, I'm moving myself again. Trying to figure out how we can do map quizzes. I love map quizzes because they're an important part of your learning. You know, they really do help to make you more geographically literate. That just means you know where places are. So we're going to continue to do a map quiz each week. I'm not sure how I'm going to grade them yet, but I do know what the task is going to look like. So in the classwork section of Google Classroom, there is a Google Doc, Google, that is called Virtual Map Quiz number 1. And what you're going to do in the beginning on Mondays is you're going to open that up. And in that document will be a link to this week's map quiz. And so you'll click on the link. It's hyperlinked because I know how to do that now because I'm like super technologically literate and I'm good at computers. That's one thing I'm good at. You're going to click on that link and then you're going to take the quiz, and that's going to be like your pre-quiz, okay? When you are finished with the quiz, I want you to take a picture, a screenshot of your score, but if you can't do that, then I'd like you to write down your time and your accuracy. And there's a place to do that on the Google Doc. Tuesday through Thursday is just practice. So you're going to continue to take that quiz. And hopefully as you take the quiz more and more, your accuracy improves, you know where more and more of the countries are located, and maybe even your time improves as well. On Friday is when you are finally going to, moving myself again. On Friday is when you're going to take the final quiz, and you can do that at any point during the day on Friday, but this is going to be your best score. So you're going to take the quiz one last time, you're going to record your score and your time on the Google Doc and then submit it to me. And then you're also going to take a screenshot if you can and email it to me. And that's how we're going to end up doing map quizzes, at least for the foreseeable future. Now, as far as the grades go, I don't really have that part figured out yet. What I do know is that I'll be looking for accuracy. I'll be looking for growth, sorry. Meaning, has your score and time improved from Monday to Friday? I know I'll be looking at that, but how I turn that into a grade, I don't know. I'm going to leave that up to our student teacher because he's got to do something. He's sleeping right now, so we got to put him to work. But the goal for these map quizzes is growth. From Monday to Friday, have you made some improvement in terms of your accuracy and your time? All of that is explained on the Google Doc, but I wanted to explain it to you in this format too. All right, what else do I have for you? Oh, what is this week's map quiz going to be? I almost forgot. So what I decided to do for this week is, it's a little bit of review. It is the 31 countries that we've already learned in Africa, which might sound a little overwhelming, but here's the good news. You've already had map quizzes on all 31 of these countries. I just want to make sure that they're still fresh in your mind, because eventually we're still going to do the 54 African Nation Challenge. So if you open up that Google Doc, you will see a link, and then if you go to the Cetera website, it's a quiz on the northern, southern, and eastern African countries. And let's see how you do. All right, what else do I have for you? Oh, preview of tomorrow. So tomorrow is, sorry, there's people walking by and I'm looking out the window at them, if you're wondering why I keep looking off to the left. There's people walking their dogs and looking at my social distancing safari. Tomorrow, oh, hold on, let me move myself again. Look, I'm in the water. We're going to start examining the country South Africa in greater detail. So we're going to start by doing a little picture, an examination of pictures. I don't know if you remember this, but when we were studying Venezuela last year, the way we started our exploration of Venezuela was through examining pictures. There was the picture of the toilet paper with all the money next to it, which is weird, kind of, right, when you think about today. Anyway, this is what tomorrow's assignment is going to look like. I will have another video lesson for you, and I will explain it in greater detail then. But today, I want you to finish up that Africa news story, work on the checklist, make any sort of revisions you need, and start studying for this week's map quiz. And I think that's everything. Tomorrow, I'll be back with another lesson. Hold on, I'm going to do something here. Good, there we go, it's just me. I hope you're doing well. Talk to you soon. Bye.